All right, quick update on the Turbo Sierra here. We just did our first fire a couple hours ago, and didn't go too bad. Had a couple fuel leaks on the PQI regulator. I didn't tighten the pipe nipple for the fuel pressure gauge, and one of those push lock hoses was leaking. I'm not a real big fan of those on pressure side, but they were basically, it was what I had laying around, so I used it. I was able to put a hose clamp on it, and it stopped it from leaking. And actually, the fuel pressure was low initially. It was between 20 and 30 psi. Just turning the key on and watching the gauge at the rail. So I actually had to tighten up the screw, get the pressure up, to 58 base that Chevrolet runs. And once I did that, it cranked up. Idle's a little high, so I got to finish everything up, and then we'll get that squared away. But it's basically a bass tune I kind of put together a couple weeks ago, and then my buddy sent me his file and kind of gleaned over his file and the file I made up, because this ECU was actually from a 2000 Tahoe or something. I don't remember, but what I ended up doing was using the red blue harness and ECU, because once I dug into it and was trying to figure out what I was going to do, because the Escalade was drive-by-wire, this truck was drive-by-cable. I really didn't want to deal with drive-by-wire, and as it turns out, the green blue will not plug into this fuse box on these trucks. So I got to racking my brain about it, and remembered I had a harness for a drive-by cable pickup truck. The harness was out of a 2000 Silverado 5.3 4L60 truck. So it plugged in the fuse box, everything plugged in. I did have to change the oil pressure sensor. It was one wire, whereas the Escalade was a 3-wire. The neutral safety switch was different. I just swapped that at the transmission. The O2s are different, which I'm not using those anyway. It's in 3-bar speed density, and I've got all that turned off. So I'll be tuning it with the wideband and doing percent error on my VE table. I got snake eater injectors from my buddy. He sent them over to me. I got those in. I got the data they sent with him was kind of junk. I actually had an Excel file from the same size injectors from somebody else, so I put those values in there, got that up and going. I do have to do the fuel pump, which will probably throw off the pressure regulator. I hope I don't have to drill it out. Typically when I do a 450 or 525 in-tank pump, I have to drill out the return orifice in the regulator to get it to stabilize at the correct pressure. It's got you can't see it from here, but it's got that AGP twin turbo intercooler that came in my twin turbo kit for the Caprice. It's got a TrueCool 40K right above it, and it all fit fairly well actually behind the grill. So I was real pleased on how that laid out. You can see the intercooler right there, and there's that. So it comes down. It fit really well. I didn't have to cut too much out of the grill or the bumper to get it all in there behind it. So very pleased with that. Had a 90mm drive-by cable, which I was happy to use. There's a little VSR 75. Got the oil feed, oil drain on there, all that good stuff. That's the brick 3-bar map that I had again from another well, actually from my other buddy. So he bought it for his turbo truck, and it ended up being the wiring, bad wiring connection from the previous owner. So I got the crossover made. It's got a 4-inch downpipe. It's got a full 4-inch exhaust out to a tailpipe. It's a Ford tailpipe off of some Ford diesel truck. It was the most economical purchase at Summit for my 4-inch tubing. And then my other buddy gave me some 4-inch straight pipe, which was a lifesaver. He gave me 2 sticks of 4-inch, probably about 4 foot long, and one of them had a 90-degree elbow welded on, so I was able to utilize all that. I got my crossover, the wastegate's in the crossover on this bank coming down under, so it's right beside the front drive shaft over here. I think everything laid out pretty good. I'm very pleased with how the truck looks. I really think the truck looks good with these wheels and the stance and everything. It might go a little bit lower. I think the lift might have it up just a touch, but I think it really turned out good. And come back here. We got you see the tailpipe right there. Nice 4-inch all the way out. Well, not all the way out, but I think it turned out pretty good. Started parting out the Escalade and actually was eyeing the bumper because I sold the third brake light off of it. Apparently that's a popular piece off those trucks people want to buy. So I was looking at the bumper, I was like, man, the one on that truck's pretty beat up. I wonder if that Escalade bumper will fit. So pulled it off, put it in here, had to trim the top side where it goes under the tailgate because it goes further and turns up on the Escalade. So laid a straight edge out on that, trimmed it to perfection. Put a receiver on it. This truck actually didn't have a receiver. So this is actually off of my 1500 turbo crew cab. So I wanted a receiver hitch on it. Of course, got to get the tailgate handle, which is pretty common on these trucks. So I guess we'll go underneath and take a look. So here's the crossover. Comes from the stock manifold down to the VS. I think it's a 44 or 45 millimeter gate. Comes over, turns up in there. This is our 4-inch coming down. Beautiful, perfect welds. And then that was the most cost effective 4-inch muffler, some kind of cherry bomb. Is basically a straight through with perforated wrap. There's the 4-inch tailpipe. Try not to knock myself out here. And then you just I had to cut and redo the tab. So, but yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. Come up here, show the intercooler, no flounder wee. Alright, there's the intercooler. I made that little bracket, just bent a piece of wire tubing or whatever is solid, and then welded a tab right there. And I think to me it fit up pretty good. You know, probably not gonna get any airflow right there, but you know, I can get Cody to drill some speed holes in the bumper for me and fix that issue pretty quick. Alright, I haven't done any of the interior stuff yet, so probably that'll be next, as I'll do the steering column, the center console, fuel pump, the cold side, whatever. Let's see. That'll fire up. So that's it for right now. I'll finish up the cold side, get an air filter on there, Gotta wire in the inlet air. I do have to change the spark plug. These are ones that were in it when it was NA, so I gotta get a set of plugs. And I gotta fix the idle. It's idled pretty high, but I think I had the RPMs up kind of high, and check engine light was on too, so I have to scan that and see why that's on. But anyway, that's a wrap. I got it running, and hopefully next we'll be out trying to drive it and get it dialed in and be doing some pulls, try to get some runs with the drag in and see how fast it is, well, or slow.